Habari ya jioni wale ambao wanatazama, na habari ya jioni Miguda.
Salama kakangu, nimeshinda vyema.
Yeah,
Na pia nashukuru Mola kwa siku ya leo.
yeah.
Niko salama kabisa.
Mi pia niko salama. Labda tuseme kwamba siku yako imekuwa aje?
Nasema tu siku yangu imekuwa vizuri. Unajua tumekuwa na vitu mingi zinafanyika nchini. Na wakati unapomaliza siku kama wakati wa jioni kama sasa hivi, naweza shukuru tu Mungu. Nasema tu siku imekuwa vizuri, tumekuwa na utulivu na vile vile pia tumekuwa na kazi nzuri tangu asubuhi mpaka sasa. Naomba tu Mola tuzidi kuwa na utulivu na tuzidi kuwa tuna hiyo amani ili tujenge taifa.
Okay, sawa sawa. Habari ninayo ni kwamba the party leader for Wiper, that is His Excellency Kalonzo Musyoka, as we speak, is in Kisumu and will be condoling with the family of the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga. That is tomorrow. He will be headed to Kango Kajaramogi, whereby he is going to pay his, he's going for the second time to pay his last respect. Remember, Kalonzo was a very close with Raila Amolo Odinga, especially when you talk about the election. He's the only leader that has supported Raila Odinga almost like 3 times, ever since they came out of KANU. He only ran for an office once, where he, after the violence, is it 2007, then he was the deputy of His Excellency, the late Kibaki. Then from that, he has been with Raila. So he's in Kisumu right now, and tomorrow he will be heading to Bondo. So that is also another news that I can share. Another thing also is that the lecturers have called off their strike. They've reached a deal with the government, and now they're going to go back to classes. So the students now should be ready for their lecturers to be in class after almost like around 49 days. That's a lot of time, So there's quite a much that has happened, but we will discuss them as time goes. Or do you have anything new that you want to share with us?
So far, there are many things that are happening, but we can just say the strike of lecturers has been called off.
Yeah.
And we are glad that now comrades are going back to classes. Remember, comrades have been out for 49 days without going to classes. And some actually decided to go back home. There were some who went back home immediately the commencement of the strike, but some are planning to go home. But now it's good that they're going back to classes, and we are going to resume normalcy into our campuses. That's a good news if they can reach that deal. And I like the spirit which were pushed by the UASU, who ensure that they stretch so that they can get their rights.
Okay, thank you so much. Today there was a memorial that was happening in Homa Bay County, and it was attended by majority, the bigwigs of ODM, including acting party leader, that is Dr. Oburu Odinga, the Gen Z, and the senator of Good County of CIM. And there are so many questions that were being raised, especially I saw people online were asking that the same time that event was taking place, the students of Homa Bay were having their exams. So people were asking the priorities. Why did the governor had to organize such memorials when the exams are going on and the place is just adjacent or is closer to Homa Bay High School? So people are just talking about that. I don't know whether there were political, the people who do not agree with her politically, and that was one thing that I saw from some of the questions that people are asking on the comment section. Also, there was majority of the speakers were saying that Baba left them in government. So, and nobody should not dream of taking them out of the government. If somebody wants to go out of the government, let go by himself. So, but the stand is ODM was left in government. That, according to majority of speakers, the acting party leader also extended a word of thank you to president, especially concerning the decision he made concerning the treatment of the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga. So there's so much that is going on. Maybe if you have something that you can share that you capture in the memorial of the Right Honorable Prime Minister, which was taking place as Raila Odinga Stadium in Homa Bay.
Yeah, I happened to follow the memorial, which was being conducted at Raila Odinga Stadium in Wabi.
Mm.
And I focused on the memorial. There were some people who were anti the memorial, but if you understand that, it was a pressure from the supporters. You understand the fact that even if someone is unpopular, like Radis Wanga, maybe,
Yeah.
doesn't mean that she doesn't have supporters. She also have some supporters. And when supporters command or demand for her to act in a capacity to ensure that they can converge at Homa Bay Stadium and have the memorial for their party leader Raila Odinga,
Mm.
it was up to her to ensure that she act swiftly in her capacity to ensure that the people are given what they deserve. So I can say even if people are opposing, but even if you two of you are opposed, doesn't mean that the other people are not. There were people who were happy about it, and actually saw the numbers people who attended. So it means
Mm-hmm.
those people are also part of the ODM party. It doesn't belong to few people. And I also focus on what the party that was saying.
Mm-hmm.
I focused on what the party that was saying, Oburu Odinga.
Yeah.
Oburu Odinga was having 3 strong points. So elaborate them. He talked about unity, the unity of the community, that it is only the unity that will make them to have strength, even in negotiation at national level. And also talk about the issue of party, ODM, that the only way for ODM to remain united is to ensure that they retain their values, their identity. And as they're going forward, lastly, they should ensure that they have alliances. They are open to form alliances either with the UDA or other political parties, provided that in the 10-point agenda, if it is implemented to their satisfaction, they can consider to work with William Ruto. And if they are dissatisfied without the treatment by the UDA, they can opt to affiliate with the political party, also insisting on being part of the government or from the government. I also wanted to appreciate him for the Thanksgiving he gave to Mr. President, because it was not easy to do things in accordance with that direction, because within 72 hours provide the time, and also it means that they never spend even a coin. That's why they're saying they are very grateful to Mr. President. And what I observed last is that I never saw that synergy, that energy. So it is true that the party leader Raila Odinga is actually missing in action. So it is true, he's no more, because I lack that energy and synergy in the stadium.
Okay, thank you so much. And even during some leaders, especially to be precise, Junet Mohammed actually talked about Rigathi Gachagua, and this was a moment whereby um, it was like a mourning period. Do you think it was necessary, or it was just to energize the crowd?
I observed two people,
Yeah,
Junet Mohammed and Fatuma Mohammed.
yeah.
Fatuma Mohammed also attacked Odoyo Widi, and he was
Mm,
very categoric on
mm,
character assassination of Odoyo Widi.
mm.
And whereas you find out Junet Mohammed was not attack Gashagwa, I think it was not proper because it was a memorial of a departed hero, and that's why even Oburu never attacked their opponents or even other people. I think it should be in order not to attack other because it was more of a memorial service. But I think so because Raila was a politician, and some people might also want to cheer their supporters or to get what we call they want to get bonga points from the crowd, or they want to trend in the evening news. So they have to ensure that they do what they are good at doing, trying to try to alert supporters that even if you are going in the future,
Yeah.
we are not likely to work with the Wamunyoro. I think that was part of it.
So, but if that could be the case, just in case, and they're saying that they will form the next government, or if the 10-point agenda is not actualized the way they might feel, or they may, if they feel like it's not actualized, how then will you say that maybe how are they going to maybe even to approach these other political parties? Because like I can remember Junet was referring to those small political parties, they are briefcase parties. How do you now approach when maybe you are belittling a political party based on the personality of a person, and and the same time you are saying that we will be part of the government and you're not going to be in opposition? How do you approach looking at the Kenyan politics, where we know how coalitions and the interest usually happens?
Yeah, it is true that the remarks by Junet Mohammed were not projecting the future because, like we have said, even if they want to work with William Ruto or other political parties, the briefcase political parties,
Yeah.
because the party said that we can work, we are open to work to any political party.
Mhm.
But I also understand within ODM, there are functional people who actually want to ensure that they retain the
Yeah.
broad-based arrangement, the likes of Junet. So in their statements, they must ensure that they make the president happy and
Hmm.
also set the agenda of the broad base because they have decided that they can only work with Ruto. I think there's some people who have taken a oath to work
Yeah.
with Ruto going forward. So in any of their statement, they are
Yeah.
not ready to give a second thought what Oburu was trying to tell them. They are
Hmm.
not able to do so. So that's why people like United are very agitated to attack Gashago. And also Oburu said something
Hmm.
that you can only negotiate if you are strong as a political party.
Yes.
And you cannot just submit that you are going to work with the UDA. It means now UDA is going to swallow ODM. You will not have that strength of negotiation when that right time comes. So I think it's proper
Yeah.
for ODM not to join in arrangement without considering future allies. And remember, what if the President William Ruto decide to work with the briefcase party? How
Yeah.
will you be accommodated? Because he can also decide to bring those briefcase party to the broad-based arrangement and plus ODM. So I just want to believe that it is proper to negotiate, bargain strongly when you are not part and parcel. That's when you can negotiate strongly because we are approaching elections.
Yeah.
What we have right now, it is post-pact, but
Mhm.
now we are going to go for election, pre-election. How are we going to arrange the working arrangement with the other affiliates? So I think people like Fatuma, Junet is a seasonal politicians. He knows how to maneuver. But people
Mhm.
like Fatuma who are very aggressive, attacking Odeo. You
Yeah.
know, it was a war between Wanga and Odeo. Wanga never responded to Odeo. But you find
Yeah.
out someone is responding on behalf of somebody. So I think sometimes even as politicians, you should allow people to settle their differences by themselves without involving you people.
Okay. And I agree with you, because like if you go to the internet, actually Honorable Odowidi has always attacked um, Nyawangaya, that is Gladys Wang, especially on on his platform, especially, it's kind of like it tends to say that he's carrying out accountability and transparency. That he's always commenting and giving pictures, sometimes including with pictorials. When he talks about Gladys and the entire county government of Homa Bay in terms of service delivery, but these are politicians. So, although we did too, I think is somebody who is interested in Homa Bay politics. So, and Gladys Wanga is like a competitor to him. So, this is something that is understandable. But to me, I thought this was a memorial, and this memorial was for somebody who, like today, was celebrating. It could have not been a we could have talked of what he has done and what we need to do and how can we live by his legacy. So this is what I can just quote a few before we go to our main discussion. And nobody should think ODM is like those small local parties or briefcase parties that come together claiming they want to form the next government. No government can be formed in Kenya without ODM. All other parties are local. That is, I quote Junet Mohammed. And he went ahead, just says, Junet, this is what has happened. Just I'll quote again Junet. Junet says the influence of ODM cannot be reduced to a scale of a smaller or briefcase parties attempting to dominate national politics ahead of 2027. That is what Junet Mohammed said today, especially when they were celebrating the life of the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga in Homa Bay. And the whole function was organized and spearheaded by the governor of Homa Bay, that is Gladys Wanga. So, and there's so many things that we picked out from that. Let me just go to the comment section and Dan OG Junet and Isaac are political orphans looking for a father. Otherwise, they are parasites with no host. Thank you so much for your comment. We have ODM was built by Baba. We've been very loyal to Baba as a person and not a community. We have where we come from. And that is what we want to discuss, actually, especially talking about what is happening. So, some of the remarks that were made by those leaders, I think like their remarks were not futuristic. And you never know. Sometimes you might do that, but like in politics, anything is it can happen. um and you can pronounce all this. Remember, even during the 2022, when um we were going headed towards election, you remember how Junet Mohammed was very brutal and attacking the president, William Ruto, then when he was a candidate for UDA. But what happened today? They are fighting even to say that they have to work with President William Ruto. So that's how politics is. Sometimes it hits you hard, and you don't know what to do. So that is just observation that we made. But there are so many observation that we made from that memorial. And remember, tomorrow there will be another memorial in Migori County. And from the sources, is saying that it will be held at Awendo Green Stadium. So if you're a resident of Migori County and you are planning to go for memorial that will be held in Migori County, I know and I believe you know where Homa Bay Green Stadium is at. So you can join other Migorians, especially from Migori County, in celebrating the life of the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga. Migoda, once again, thank you so much for joining. And today I want us to have a conversation, and this is a conversation that I just thought that why Ruto could still lose 2027 general election with ODM party. And the reason why I post that question is, when you look at the dynamics of our politics, and you look at especially our political party and Raila the person and the ODM the party, and you will ask yourself so many questions about these political parties that we have, especially when you look at the fan base that Raila had with ODM. And you ask, were people loyal to ODM party or people were loyal to Raila? What was the magnet that has held the ODM with its supporters? Was it the party, the ODM, or the person, the personality, the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga? So that's why I tend to think that when you look at it, when Ruto is with ODM, and the main or the end result is that you are going to inherit the fan base that belong to the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga, because once you have ODM, maybe the supporters will come. But is that the case? Or there's another way? So, Miguda, what do you think when you look at Raila the person and you look at the party of ODM, and Ruto is going to have the party? Do you feel he can still lose with ODM, or that is not possible?
Okay, you'll add me more time because uh, I want to discuss it that way. But before I discuss it, I want to also point out what I noticed from Fatuma Mohammed, because
Yeah.
Fatuma Mohammed she's a women rep from Migori County,
Yes.
and when she goes to Omabay County attacking Odoyo Widi, remember
Yes.
Odoyo Widi is coming from Karachuonyo,
Yes.
the Konyango Rabala, and they are Karachuonyo residents who are residing in Migori County. You know, you can lose popularity because some will argue that I can't vote for her because she was attacking Odoyo Widi. The other
Mm.
day also, I saw her attacking Sifuna, that Sifuna should not step foot his feet in at Nyatike. Also,
Mm.
at Migori County, there's fan base of Sifuna. They can say, okay, because this woman is anti-Sifuna, I'll not vote for her. So she need to be very careful that
Yeah.
if you go to a neighboring county, focus on the issue of the party or the memorial, whereby just defend the party, or you go there and condole with the Baba supporters, but don't engage into foreign affairs,
Yes.
because you might lose your popularity because of your recklessness. Sometimes you need to be very careful, because like even if you are from Kisumu County, then you go to Migori County, you take sides. You are now pro Ochilo or pro Nyamita. And if you go back to Siaya County, you find that they are Sakwa people. So the Sakwa people, okay, if you go to Migori, you are pro Nyamita, but as with the Sakwa people, you want to treat the governor of Migori. So that women rep should be, she should be managed, because there are
Okay.
some other aspects that
Okay.
can.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, so I've done that. So I just want to talk about the question you have asked me.
Before you answer that question, let's just talk about what you've said about the women rep for Migori, and you know I think the kind of politics that she's doing is called what we called emotional politics, or whipping the emotions of the masses, you know, and like you want to be very relevant to the people at that particular moment, to so to to evaluate you as somebody who is very strong. Because for instance, when remember when he attacked Sifuna and says, Sifuna, do not step in Nyateke. Yes, but remember, somebody, this is an SD of the party. What does it take for you to think in the future that at some point I might be invited to go and visit our colleagues who are in Western Kenya? What response are you going to get? That is one. Now, come to the issue of Odoyowidi and Gladys Wanga, the governor for Homa Bay. You know, when you look at what is happening between Odoyowidi and Wanga, these are political competitors. You know, each one of them are trying to outwit each other, because we know Wanga right now is in power, and through the powers and the constitution that she can do anything, including organizing for those memorial. Because remember, they she wrote, if there was a memo that was asking the, especially the staff of Homa Bay, to attend that memorial, because that is the power that has been bestowed by her by the constitution. So somebody like Odoidi, because maybe is eyeing a political office, what you will do, you will focus on the weakness of your opponent by unearthing some of the issues that you feel will be resonating well with your bases, or will give you an upper hand on your opponent. So when you come and see, especially you witness somebody like Fatuma coming and invites one, he's looking at it this way. He's looking at, okay, Wanga is the chair lady, which means in the party she might be having some power. So there, she's trying to create a path for herself in which she has to align herself to the center of power, especially like I want to align myself to be on the side of Wanga, to be like a choir, you know, the worshippers that we usually talk about, the political worshipping and the psychophancy, you know, so that just in case if something happens during the nomination, due to the rapport that we might be having, and also when we go to public, I tend to fight his enemy or her enemies. So you can get upper hand in terms of favoritism. That is, I think, what happened. You can now answer the question.
Okay, I can answer the but that. Also, remember, SQ the party matters. Maybe the chairperson can save you during nominations, but remember the SG signature also matters. So she should be very careful on how to do her politics. What I wanted to respond to your question is that the ODM party, the personality of Raila Odinga, to me, the current people who are making loud noise, that we should be united, the party should be united, there should be no division. To me, they want to unite so that they can survive, all of them.
Yeah.
You know, if they are not united, all of them are going home. But the good news is what you talked about, that it was Raila a unifying factor, not ODM. So to them, they think if they unite in ODM now, even the people who have not worked for the people will be saved by that unity. They're getting it wrong. But you know, with the people, division works best for us, because we want to identify the true leaders, the people who can deliver service to the people, so that we can elect them. So they understand that in their division, they will be hung separately. So they rather unite and hang together, so that even if they go home, they go collectively, or they can survive to the next parliament, all of them. So that's why you see most of them are preaching about the unity of the party. But the reality is, it was Raila personality, not the party. Another thing I'm also observing,
Yeah.
the ODM party, you talk about Ruto. Ruto was very sure that, you know, ODM, Raila is gone, but if Raila could be alive, Raila could have endorsed Ruto. So it could have been Ruto Tosha. Yeah. Remember when Raila endorsed Mwai Kibaki 202, Mwai Kibaki Tosha, the support base for Raila voted for Mwai Kibaki. But when Raila pulled away from Kibaki and go to the election in 2007, all the fan base of Raila went where Raila was. So to me, it was going to be obvious for Raila to say to Tosha, So people could have followed Raila's command. But in the absence of Raila, who is going to command this Jeshi la Baba? No, this Jeshi la Baba cannot be commanded by the party or by the other person. There are those people who say that
Mhm.
they were only registered as a voter because of Raila Odinga, and that's why they took their cards. Now
Cards,
Raila
yeah.
is gone. They are done with the electoral process in this country. So I
Yeah.
believe that if it could be possible
Mhm.
for Raila to be alive, and he could have endorsed Ruto like Ruto Tosha,
Mhm.
that Jeshi la Baba could have just done what they did to Kibaki in 2002.
Something that also that I feel that still, if things to go by, that Ruto can still lose with ODM party. And before I come to that, this is what I'm looking at. I'm looking at Wanga. As much as you people might not like her art of politics, or people might dislike her, but there's something that Wanga is doing, that she's so much focused in future. It's not something that is going to benefit her at the right moment right now, but it's something that is going to benefit Wanga in future. And the reason why I'm telling you this, look at how Wanga has staged herself in anything to do with the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga. From the time uh, uh, Baba died to the time he was buried until today. You know, look at it is not yet a month ever since Baba was buried, but look at how Wanga has decided to bring in the issue of memorial. And remember when they had that uh, uh, the neck meeting that they had, and Migori and Homa Bay were amongst the places that was said that we will be having memorial, and this memorial were geared towards the celebrating of 20 years. But Wanga has positioned herself in a way that he is fighting for all this. The reason why he's doing that, Wanga has realized one thing, that the politics of Kenya is not all about party, it's about personality. And Wanga is trying her level best to create that personality, so that she has the people who are going to support her, creating our organic supporters within ODM, because she knows for a fact that the pillar that was uniting ODM was Raila Amolo Odinga, and Raila Amolo Odinga was the center of attraction for all 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 the fans of ODM. It was not ODM, it was Raila. So, and Wanga is playing that. So by the time even like people are complaining, Wanga is wasting this, Wanga is, but politically, she's building her own empire. Yeah. So that when it come even to negotiation, after commanding such a base, provided that you have a base, then it gives you a leeway, or it gives you an opportunity even to call shots. And that's why, like, remember when when people were at JKA, when the body of Baba disembarked from the plane, and now he was being taken for viewing at Kasarani. How many leaders do they call so that can cool people? Wanga was called, Sifuna was called, Babu was called, including Uburu himself. But what happened? Did they listen to any of them? The reason why they did not listen, because the only person who understood that crowd and who could tell them to cool down was lying on the casket. There was nobody who could do that, even if you're the chair of ODM. So it tells you there the ODM as a party was not playing any role, including the SG of the party. With all powers that he had, he could not especially talk to people to select. So that is what Wanga is trying to build. And I think if if plans goes her way, then she will be that person who will be calling the shots, especially when it comes to the politics of Luanyanza. That's where she's putting herself. That is what I think. Hello, Miguda, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there. I got your point.
Yeah.
You understand that the leadership of Nyanza, or the leadership, it is not given on a silver platter. Even people are saying it is Juogi. Then Juogi you will not just sit somewhere pretty, then Juogi will land on you. Juogi will only land on someone who has made effort. And that's why when Jaramogi died, now people are still asking questions like Orengo James, Raila Odinga. And you saw there's a clip going on when they were at Ugunja, Ugenya, a place called Sega. And remember that time, Orengo, Orengo was also a very brave leader. Orengo is also brave. Don't underrate Orengo. So Orengo, because he was a local person from that region, Raila was also coming. Orengo had organized goons. So it was a battle between goons, Raila's goons and Orengo goons. I think the clip is outside there. It is on black and white. They fought to an extent that Orengo was chased away from the crowd, and Raila was forced to address the crowd in absence of Orengo at Sega. So it means someone has come
But
from Bondo to
but
address
but,
your
but
crowd.
what you also have to know, during that time, Raila was in government.
Yeah, that's where my point is coming. That's why what I want to connect with Nyawangaya.
Yes.
So Raila was in government and won that battle because he was a minister, I think, a minister by that time. Then when Raila won that battle, he used state machinery. So from the history, Nyawangaya might be using her position and her capacity right now to ensure that he satisfies the fanatic base of Raila Odinga, so that in case of any future battle or negotiation, he stand at a better position to submit a case, because right now, as I'm speaking to you, the jury is outside there. We are not certain who is going to take from Raila. The jury is outside there. Anybody, even if you can just take from Raila, but it's a matter of how it's going to happen. So Nyanga might be, as people are making their moves, she might also be making her moves to remain relevant, but using her position. What Raila did to Orengo and took away the people from Orengo. Because we understand that Jaramogi said that Orengo was the preferred successor of Jaramogi, but Raila took it away from Orengo. So I think it can be one of the strategy being applied so that when that time comes for the real battle,
Yeah.
she will be a bit some step ahead of the opponents.
Okay. And okay, thank you so much. And now when we come back to the discussion that we were talking about, that can Ruto still why Ruto can still lose with ODM is I talked about the personality, not the party. And to just to give you a view of that, or to evidence to pinpoint the reason why I'm telling you that, I want to bring you to Mount Kenya, especially when President William Ruto and Uhuru Kenyatta um, disagreed. And we knew very well that Jubilee was a party that was for Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. So from the political point of view, it was a Mount Kenya political party. Yeah, because Uhuru Kenyatta was the leader. And you look at when they disagreed with President William Ruto. President William Ruto started to campaign in Mount Kenya, then came with UDA, and I do not think, or I'm not convinced that the people of Mount Kenya went to UDA because they love UDA party. No, they voted for UDA because of the personality who was behind the UDA. And that's why, like right now, because there's that disagreement between President William Ruto and maybe a good chunk percentage of Mount Kenya, I don't think they hate the political party UDA, or not hate, that is a strong word. Let me withdraw that. I don't think like they don't like UDA, but the person that they don't like is the president. Maybe they say that because there's some of the issues that they agreed with the president, and the president did not honor them. You know, so so even if president comes with another party, they're not going to love that party. For instance, even if the president said that, okay, now we are negotiating and I'm coming as a candidate of UDA, I mean, not UDA, but as a DCP, I do not think that they are going to go for it, bearing in mind that right now DCP tend to be a popular party in Mount Kenya as compared to other political parties. So it tells you that even with all this that is saying that, okay, we were left in government, this is what Baba told us, and this is what Baba told us, and it's explained to you also that nobody talks about the ODM. It talks about this is where the Baba left us. It's talking about the personality, because they know that is what unifies. So without that, then he can have the party, but if that unifying factor does not hold water, political waters, then it means it's still quite much tricky. So that's why I was saying that he can still lose with it and giving our a typical of Mount Kenya. So secondly, when you look at our political parties are are built on regionals and kingpins, and these kingpins are the people who determine the, the people who determines where they should go. For instance, when you look at what is happening, you look at all this, I mean, like political parties and the kingpins, they say that the kingpins are the people who are talking about our interest. And majority of the times you listen to the acting party leader of ODM, he has always insisted our people. So when somebody talks about our people, it means it talks about where they feel that their interest is going to be served. And how are their interests going to be served? Interests are going to be served by the people they feel is fighting for them. For instance, we have President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta and uh, President William Ruto then. The people of Mount Kenya felt that President Ruto had their interest at heart, and that's why they decided to go with him. So if you do not have their interest, and that's why majority say that is the kingpin of Mount Kenya. So to me, I still feel that if there is no stronger personality in ODM, even if they work with the president or they don't work with the president, the personality will determine the results, not the party. That's what I think.
Yeah, I agree with you because, like I've told you, Ruto knew very well that, of course, nobody knew Raila was going to die. And if they could have been there up to 27, Raila could have said Ruto Tosha. That's now the people could have voted for William Ruto, the fanatic base for Raila, because they believe in Raila. And they believe that it is Raila who bear their interest. And even if Raila is sorted out, their interests are sorted out. And if Raila, they knew that Raila is a representation of the many. and Raila cannot mislead his people. So when he will say Ruto Tosha, they will be voting for to serve the interest of Raila Odinga, the personality of Raila Odinga, and they will vote to make Baba happy because they don't want to do contrary to Baba's wishes. And you understand the way they love Baba to say that Baba, they view Baba to be right, and they view that Baba can never be wrong. And that's why when Baba told them to vote for Kibaki Tosha in 2002, they never asked any question. They paraded into their polling stations and voted Kibaki overwhelmed. And then if you find out that Ruto was clinging to Baba because he knew very well that with Baba's support, he was going to be forced to be reckoned with the opponents, and he was going to have a fanatic base from Baba. But right now, you can't say that the fanatic base of Baba is going to automatically support William Ruto re-election. That's why now the point is they cannot do that to William Ruto because their leader is no more. If their leader could be alive, they could have done it to pay allegiance and loyalty to Raila Amolo Odinga. But with his absence right now, it's up to William Ruto and the team to look on a strategy to convince them that re-election of William Ruto is going to satisfy Raila's desires and Raila's visions and thoughts. And that's why I've seen them now going back to their senses. Remember, initially, there was reluctance.
Hello, me good. Hello, me good. Okay, I think we are still waiting for Miguda. There's and another thing that before Miguda comes in that I also would want to mention, especially when you're looking at the party ODM, especially is the people. Because the other day I had President was saying the only competitor that he had was the late Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. Yes, but remember, Raila had the people behind him. And if he has the majority or the population of the people behind him, then he can win. But if the people are not with him, especially now when it comes to voting, that one can also make him to lose. So that's why I still say that there's quite much that is in stake, especially for him to win. And it depends on the people, depends on the personality of ODM. It also depends on other factors, especially of what is happening. It will depend on how the members of ODM are carrying out themselves. It will also depend on how the government is delivering their services and the promises. So those are big stakes that things that are in place that the president will have to consider, especially when it comes. And also something also we cannot deny. Yeah, president can still win with ODM party. And how can president still win with the ODM party? President can win with the ODM party if they stay united and they have proper communication. Yeah, because even yesterday, I was listening to one of the county assembly legislative member of Milimani, that is Honorable Seth Aduinyan. He called upon or voiced and pledged that ODM should speak with one voice. So what the party leader is speaking about should be what the chair lady of the party is speaking about, should be what the SG is speaking about, it should be what the deputy party leaders are speaking about, and it also should be what everyone in ODM speaks about. So, because if you are speaking or you're speaking in one voice, it means it's give your supporters, it give your supporters, it gives your supporters energy to stick together, you know, and continue with the unity that you are told. But like if everyone is speaking differently, the way we've seen on our some of the leaders are, then that one also will affect the results. But if you speak collectively and with one voice, that even makes the party strong. Hello, Miguda, how are you doing?
I'm fine. If I can conclude my submission,
All right, go ahead, brother.
I was saying the only route to, Baba was loved as Baba, not as ODM
Yeah.
personality.
Mhm.
So the only route to persuade the fanatic base of Baba, like my good friend Laban Misiani and people like us, to vote for William Ruto,
Yeah.
is to ensure that the visions, that's why I saw them. They're trying also, they're also having a very reliable intelligence in the ground. So they were saying
Mhm.
they want to implement NADCO report.
Yeah.
And now they ask you, we have implemented what Baba wanted. And that's why Ruto was very categoric during the burial that I went to meet Baba and we discussed with Baba how to transform Kenya into Singapore. Because he wanted to bring to the supporters of Baba that the vision, the
Mhm.
percentage of Baba, I'm bearing it right now because Baba is no more and I'm the president. Actually, I can assist you people to realize the vision of Baba. So I think that's the way to persuade people. You must respect the human rights. You must advocate for the equality. You must, and also remember one thing. I just want to say one thing before I conclude.
Yeah.
Everybody has been telling us what Baba said,
Mhm.
what was the vision of the Baba, what has been the intention, and so on and so forth. But no one is talking about. But Baba also said that NGCDF is unconstitutional. Why can
Mhm.
they tell us that Baba said NGCDF is unconstitutional? Now, MPs should discuss on how to get rid of the NGCDF because Baba also said many things, including
Mhm.
NGCDF to be unconstitutional.
Yeah. But you know what happens is that you know, in politics, the politicians will always do what favors them. You know, as we speak right now, uh, people will focus on what is going to favor them, or what is not, rather than what is not favoring them. So that's why you find all this communication that are coming from each and every legislator, and this one makes them. They feel that this kind of like makes them more relevant and connect with the people, because they know very well that the people that they're speaking to are the people that are the fanatical base of Baba. So they cannot afford to to say something that kind of like is not favoring them, because you know, when you talk about what you've just talked about, you know, it favors members of parliament more than anybody else, because remember, it also assists you, especially with campaigning, because from if you use your CDF resources well, it's also add to your CV, especially when it adds up and portray you as somebody who is a very good manager of the CDF, and also what you've done. So that one, they have to tread there very carefully, because like some of them do not favor them, you know. Hello, me good, are you there?
Yeah, I'm back. I'm having some network problems here and there.
Mm-hmm.
So I was saying, if these people want us to believe
Mm-hmm.
them, everything holistically, what Baba said in public and in private, they should implement them fully. But without implementing them, just
Yeah.
so it's a jabber. You find that it is going to be difficult to inherit that support base of Raila Amolo Odinga, because there are some people who Baba was law to them, that Baba has said it's unconstitutional, it's
Mm-hmm.
unconstitutional. You can't proceed with the CDF, and Baba has already pronounced it to be unconstitutional. Baba
Mm-hmm.
talked about many things like implementing the 10-point agenda. He talked
Mm-hmm.
about issues to do with the equality, inclusivity, devolution. So if you can project those aspirations and visions,
Mm-hmm.
then I think practically, because you're the president, you are likely going to get a little bit of the base by yourself, not that you're being assisted. I think that's the way to go. But still, it's not going to be easy in 2027
Mm-hmm. Okay.
without the presence of Baba.
And you know, give it like 3 months. Within a period of 3 months, I think like that will be enough time for the reality checks and balances to come to the party of ODM. Because even as we speak today, even there are those who say that we are left in government, and those who still do not believe in that we are left in government. And even when you come to those who were left in government, if you dig deeper into it, you find that it 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 goes and centers itself, especially to a group, or especially like, let's say, to be very precise, you find that in a group of especially the Luo community, you know. That's where, like, sometimes when you listen to some of the legislature from those part of the country, that's what, like, if they speak about it, they say that we are not coming out, you know. So you find that it is, um if you go deeper, you still find divisions, you know. And there's something that people do not also tend not to focus on. And maybe I want you to also give us your view. You know, there are people here, especially very, very senior members of ODM, especially talking about Professor Anyang' Nyong'o, talking about especially Anyang' Nyong'o. You know, when you look at Professor is somebody who has been very quiet, especially on everything that is happening in ODM. He only spoke once, and I think the other day when he was given an opportunity to go to Uganda, I think so, when they were having a memorial for Baba there in Uganda. He was the representative, and those are the where he spoke. But he has not spoken about the issues in public. He has only spoken about the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga, and he has not spoken about the general view of the party. If maybe he has spoken somewhere and I've not seen that. And also, look at also Orengo. You know, they are very, very careful and in the words that they use, especially Orengo and Nyong'o, majority of them. They are very, very cautious on the words that they use, especially during this time. What does that one mean? Because you cannot ignore them in the party. Remember, Nyong'o is the pioneer secretary general of the party since its birth. Is somebody that has been, um, and is the person who brought in Sifuna to ODM, or proposed him for the secretary general position. And they're very very, very cautious on the words that they they like on what they're speaking about. It's very rare to find them commenting or talking about issues right now. What does that one tell you?
You don't need to underrate them, because remember,
Yeah.
someone like Professor Nyang' Nyong'o, not
Mhm.
only being a professor, but he's someone who can win. He won Kisumu gubernatorial race quietly twice consecutively.
Mhm.
Quietly, he never made any noise, but he was elected and he was nominated. So Nyang' Nyong'o is a smooth operator. He knows how to. He's strategic, and also he's a good schemer. He
Yeah.
knows how to move without being noticed. I believe people like Orengo and Nyong'o,
Yeah.
you might find out that they're the people who are calling the shots right now. But
Mm.
they are invisible. They are calling the shots invisibly, because Sifuna has been confident that unless the people who gave me this position call me and ask me to surrender, that I've
Mm.
dissatisfied them, that now I'll surrender. But Nyong'o are the people who brought Sifuna on board. Someone like Orengo is also an intelligent old man. They might be the people who are now invisible to make sure
Mm.
that the party
Mm.
prosper in the absence of Raila, because they can't. The Swahili word pali wazee wako haparibiki jambo.
Mm.
Oburu can be there, significant as a party leader, but the real people who are now running the show are Anyang' Nyong'o. I remember even the deputy governor from Kisumu also apologized in the absence of Anyang' Nyong'o. But later, remember, Anyang' Nyong'o was the person who was given those guests who came from Germany to actually
Yes.
he hosted them. So it means they are they are working in uniform, but different parts, because
Mm.
they have different roles. I remember even Orengo has been the person receiving, like, the former Ghana president Akufo Nana Addo. It is Orengo who has been receiving those dignitaries. So it's like ODM must continue, but most importantly is the unity. Not only
Mm.
unity, but also you must resonate with the popular will of the people. I think your question is very significant, because the two old men,
Yeah.
they are pulling things behind the scenes. That could be my view, but they understand because they are in that union. Remember the union between Orengo, Nyong'o, Raila, and
Mm.
even Oburu and the late Otieno Kajwang. Their friendship has lasted for a quite long time.
Okay. Now, there's also something that maybe just to go back to where we were, especially looking at what happened in Oma Bay. I think it was maybe the Lua affair of ODM, because we did not see. I don't know. Maybe if I messed it out, you can remind us, because like we did not see the big wigs, especially of the party. Especially James Orengo was missing out. Professor Nyang' Nyong'o too was missing out. We just only had two governors. Simbarati in the mix. Arati was in Nakuru, I think so. Um, and quite a number of, including the Uriri member of parliament for Uriri, Mark Yamita, was also missing. And Babu Wino is a Nairobian, but like I think this one could have been a better opportunity for him to come. Were they not invited, or maybe they were engaged somewhere?
Not that they were never invited. I think, like you have said, the case of Babu Owino. If you want to be whatever you wanted to be, these are the
Yeah,
right places
that he should.
to invade,
Mhm.
and communicate with the people you want to be their king. How do you want to be the king of the people, and if the king has been missing in action? So I think those are things he should be doing. And also, like I've told you, Orengo and Nyong'o knows what they're doing, and they know when to hit. But Arati has been also doing another thing. Arati has tried to move to those swing votes of ODM. Remember the other time he was in Kajiado. Today
Yep.
he was in Nakuru, one-man army, trying to go and console with the fan base of Raila because they had a long time with Raila. Now they understand their swing bases. They went to he went to Kajiado, and he went there to also console with the Kajiado residents, and particularly the ODM. And so even the coloring, the t-shirts, the tapes, the way they are wearing. And even today in Nakuru, when he invaded Nakuru, he went there with symbolically that the ODM are still mourning, and they're
Yeah.
even reaching out to their swing votes, like the supporters. So I think, like I've told you, right now there are many activities, and also there are many intent with different people on how to succeed the Raila Odinga and also the fan base. And this is how party also is trying to strengthen so that they can say, because there is this to say that Raila amekufa na ODM. They want to prove us wrong that
Yeah. All right. Okay, I hope you'll be back, and this is what is happening. We talked about that we said that as a members of ODM Democratic Movement gathered in Homa Bay town to celebrate life and legacy of the late Honorable Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga. Embakasi East Member of Parliament Babu Owino uh, uh, was not uh, present to celebrate that, and something that also Miguda was bringing about, because you know that people have seen Babu as somebody who is going to be the heir of the throne, and these are the uh, functions that he should avail himself at so that he can connect with the people. But what I know, such like function, despite the fact that it was a celebration of Raila Amolo Odinga legacy and what Raila stood for, but also there were political undertones in it, the political of supremacy, who is who in this, and making statement. As I told you earlier, this is what I'm reading. I told you earlier that Governor Wanga, Governor Wanga, all this that our Governor Wanga is doing, there's a target that she's targeting, that she's trying to create at her own political base where um, she can lead a command, because they've all of them have understood that even the peace that they're talking about, it's very shaky, it's very fragile. And at any moment in time, if they are not very careful, especially if they are very reckless with their statements, of like some of their leaders usually do, the party might break, and that will be disastrous. But you're looking at, in the event that it breaks, especially because you have to have, what are you bringing on the table? That is all about Kenyan politics. If even you're going to be given the deputy slot, they will ask you, what are you going to bring on the table? You're not bringing expertise, or you're not bringing the educational background. What you bring on the table usually start with the majority of the region you command votes. That's what it means, especially when you're talking in the context of um, Kenyan politics. When you are asked, what are you bringing on the table? So just to know that you to, ni kura ngapi ambao unaleta katika meza. Kama kura yako ni chache, unapata kwamba hautasikilizwa, na labda ukisikilizwa utapata kama nyadhifa ambazo utakuwa unapata katika muungano, labda mnataka kutengeneza, itakuwa labda wewe utakuwa umewekwa kama mtu ambaye atakuwa anafungua mlango kulingana na idadi ya watu ambao, ama kulingana na wafuasi wako. So that is one something that is asking the Kenyan politics. What are you bringing on the table? There are few. Let me just give you something also here. Kalonzo Musyoka is in Kisumu. The sources that I have, he has landed in Kisumu safely, and tomorrow he will be going to Bondo, Kangoka Jaramogi, to mourn the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga. And Kalonzo is right now is one of the jewels, especially when you're looking at politics, because of apart from President William Ruto, um, Kalonzo has a loyal supporters, and everybody would want to work with Kalonzo. This is including even the president himself. You've heard several times how the allies of the president are trying to reach Kalonzo so that they can work together. So the reason being is that Kalonzo has very loyal support base that listen to him, and that one brings us to what I was telling you about the personality. It is not all about the party, it's about the personality. Even if today His Excellency Kalonzo Musyoka can decide to change the party, wipe out to go somewhere, he will go with his people, his loyal support. And that's what makes him a very, very, very jewels, especially in politics, a wild card that can change the results of election. So everybody will be fighting to get Kalonzo Musyoka, including Rigathi Gachagua, will maintain that, okay, we have to stay in the position because his political base is with him. Um, Looking back at what happened in Stadium, Oburu has cautioned against unnecessary division that might see the region get alienated just a moment after it secured a place in government. Unnecessary. It's talking about region. Mark that. And that's why I tell you that the politics is about a region again. It is here. Uh, this what talking about region, and that's what Oburu has maintained. Even if you listen to his uh, interview that he had with NTV, and if you watch the interview, Oburu really performed well. Dr. Oburu performed well in that interview because he was very neutral. Remember, before Raila, Oburu was like a face of the broad-based government. But if you check that interview, he was very, very neutral and very articulative on the issues and giving proper answers. I think he performed well uh, in that interview. So Kalonzo will be visiting. And if you listen to his speech, Oburu also say that he stated that there's no single incident that the late Raila Odinga betrayed democracy for personal gains. That's what when Oburu was um, talking during the memorial of his brother at uh, Raila Stadium in Homa Bay. There's so much that was discussed there, the political undertones. And when you look at even the body language of some politicians, they had to do it. And tomorrow they are going to Migori County, where they are going to have the celebration or memorial service at Awendo Green Stadium. So if you are in that area, you can go and also enjoy with others. Remember, there's something also President um, said about the power. Unaweza pata kwamba sehemu ambao unaishi unapata kwamba hakuna stima. President anasema between 5 and 10 in some areas usually not get power because we do not have enough energy. So ukiona kama steam imezimwa kutokea 5 mpaka 10 p.m. we call it the load shedding. So hiyo usiseme watu wa KPLC wamefanya nini, ni kitu hicho, kwa sababu we do not have enough energy. That is what president said. Um, mhm. Something also happening in Tanzania. I don't know how true, especially for those who are the lovers of music or the lovers of Diamond. Ever since the election and all the protest, in terms of followers, Diamond has really lost quite a number of followers, and this is maybe because the stand or the support they took for, especially to support the government. I was just reading something today is on. There's so many things that are happening. It has now emerged. I'm just giving you this update. The government has been disbursing 1.1 billion to ghost students in public school across the years. Mm-hmm. Awapo lakini 1.1 billion is being disbursed. Hey, Miguda, how are you doing?
I'm fine. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I was talking about Kalonzo Musyoka visiting Bondo, and again,
Okay.
yeah, and the grave site of Raila Amolo Odinga, I think, is the most visited grave site in the history of the world. I think so, based on what is happening. And if you look at the flowers, are always fresh. Hello.
Oh, I'm saying Kalonzo took, I think he's in Kisumu right now,
Yeah, he is.
and he's trying to visit Kaunka Jaramogi tomorrow, and also pay homage to Mama Ida. Kalonzo has been a good friend of Raila. He has been an ally. I think they started a long time during the Kanu time, and also remember during the COD, NASA, Azimio.
Mhm. But now, because earlier, I think in the beginning of the week or when we were headed towards weekend, it was also like that Rigathi Gachagua might be visiting. So from the look of things, it's only Kalonzo who is visiting. Maybe Rigathi, no? Okay. Hello, Miguda. Hello, Miguda. All right. Let me take this opportunity to thank everyone who was watching us for this short session that we had here. Tomorrow we will be coming in again early to discuss about the happenings in the country, and we will also be paying attention to Kalonzo Musyoka visiting Kango Kajaramogi population who will be accompanying him. So that one will be very, very, very significant politically. And maybe we will see the united opposition visiting, and that one also will be very significant politically. Let me take also this opportunity to thank Laban Misiani. Thank you so much for joining us. Dan Omeg, thank you so much for joining us. And let me take this opportunity to thank everyone who were with us throughout this session. And we are coming to the end of the show. Till tomorrow, may God bless you. And may God bless Kenya. And if you find time tomorrow, you can also join us, same time, same place. Thank you so much, and may God bless you.